Hello my friends, this is umonox, and in today's video I want to show you how we can use the new grainer machine from the Tonverk to create some kind of a fake Unison sound with literally every sample that we have. Works obviously best with synth samples, and now while this is a great way of doing this, I think that I've also found a bug in that grainer machine, and I will show you that later on. But first, let's have a look at how we can set that up. It's actually really easy. Let's have a look at how we can set that up and obviously how it sounds like. Okay, so to begin with, let's create a new project as usual. I'm also turning down the input level so that I don't hear everything twice and to reduce the noise. And now on that first track, let's first find a sample. I'm going to the Tonverk factory library here, and this time I will go to the multi-sampled instruments where we have this waveforms folder where are some things like the spectral pad here which sound actually pretty neat, and I wanna use those. Let's have a listen. Okay, that's a bit too low. Let's take C4. That should do the trick. Let's also see if we can find something else here, like tonal. So let's see if we find something in basses. Maybe when we play that one higher. Let's see. But well, first I go to track number 2 and I will quickly assign those samples the way they are so that we hear how they sound. Yeah, simple. And now let's go to track number 1 and I hit function and source and select the grainer machine here. And now I just load the same sample into the grainer machine and listen to how that sounds. Completely different, right? So the first thing I do is I reduce all these parameters. I set them all to 0. Just to start with, so that everything is more or less reset. Set them to 0. And on that second page, I also turn the grain amount down. And I set the mode to oscillator because it works very well in that mode. And right here, the fade and shape. Yeah, I set this that way so that the sample is actually played back exactly how it is played back on that other track. So let's have a listen. Of course, that can't work because we have to set the size. The size is down to 0 now, and that is obviously not working for that purpose. So I bring the size up all the way to the maximum, and now both tracks should sound pretty similar. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and now it's a matter of just dialing that stuff in to get actually more grains going on. And what I want to do here is I want to use the fact that we can add more grains into this, like that. Makes the sound also louder. I want to use that. I want to use the fact that this is working to actually fake the unison by using an LFO on that tune parameter right here. So let's go to the LFOs and let's assign the tune. And from an earlier test I found out that it works very well with such high speed settings on the LFO. I also select a triangle wave, set it to sync, and now watch what happens once I start dialing in the LFO. Listen to that. We also get some kind of detuning going on, and now to make that sound work better for us, we can actually start working on that grainer machine's parameters. So first I want to offset these things a little bit from each other, because in oscillator mode right here, they are literally stacked completely on top of each other. So to make that work, I just start dialing in some density. Now they aren't triggered all at the same time, you know. So there is some variation for the start of these things. It's working. Okay, And what else can we do? Now we can also use the spread parameter to actually smear the whole thing a little bit so that it sounds just a little bit more pleasing to the ear. Have a listen. It's losing a little bit of its attack. But I kinda like that. And to make that sound complete, we can also use the pan spreading right here to distribute those grains into our stereo field. So let's have a listen to how that sounds like. Maybe not completely wide, but that should do. Okay, so as easy as that. Did you see that? Works very well. And since the grainer machine is also polyphonic, means that we can also play chords with that, like. Okay, let's get the volume down a little because it's actually louder, of course, since we have a lot of those grains in. And here we can hear difference. This is our fake unison, and that's the sound the way it is played normally. And of course we can go in here and dial in even more. As much as we want. And we can make use of the new filters and maybe make this a little bit more plucky. So I just do it like that, and I go in here and go to the mod envelope and actually target the filter's frequency so that I get the filter envelope back like that. Listen to how that sounds once I dial it in. Something like that. Yeah, just playing around. You get the point, I think. And finally, of course, it sounds great with reverb. So let's change that reverb to the room's clang. And take out the lows maybe. Yeah, and actually see how that sounds like. And it works with chords as well, so it could obviously also sound like that. Yeah. So basically using that thing as some kind of a unison generator for our synth sounds. Okay. Now, while sitting here and while I've tried that out in the first place, I thought about, wouldn't that be awesome to use this with single cycle waveforms? Because since the grainer these grains are always looped, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because there is one problem with that method right here, and this, have a listen. Now the filter is down, we can't hear it so well. Let's turn the filter up, and then you will hear what I mean. Do you hear these clicks? That's pretty normal because those samples are looped. And the fact that they are looped is not only the problem right now, because at the moment it doesn't work for longer samples which have a longer sustain phase and everything. It just works for shorter samples. But the fact that they are looping was giving me the idea, okay, why not using single cycle waveforms for that? Because that way they could loop infinitely, and we would have kind of like a super oscillator with literally 8 fake oscillators. That's how we would make use of these grains. Like every single grain would then be some kind of a fake oscillator, you know, because we can detune them here. But let's quickly load up a single cycle waveform. I found some inside the multi-sampled instrument waveforms here as well. Those pure saw, square and everything. Those are single cycle waveforms, and we just pick one. Doesn't actually matter which one. I just drop it in to this track real quick to show you how it sounds like it when it's looped. Like that. Okay? Also quite loud, let's turn it. But when I load it here, this happens. Nothing. You see? Nothing. Now, according to the manual, the minimum sample length for the grainer should be 10 milliseconds, and single cycle waveforms are usually around 20 to 25 milliseconds, depending on their sample rate and everything. There's a formula where you can actually calculate that stuff, but I don't have that at hand right now. But yeah, you know, usually 22, 25 milliseconds or something like that. So they should be in range for the minimum sample length of that grainer. It doesn't play them back, however, because when I tap these, I do not even hear a click or something. It just doesn't play them back, and I think that this is a bug. And I will definitely file a bug report to Elektron, because that would make a lot of sense to have single cycle waveforms in here, because that way we could get some kind of a monster oscillator that we can actually play around with. And with the density here, when it scans randomly through the wave and everything with those start points, this could really sound very interesting. But yeah, sadly it doesn't work at the moment, and I really hope that this is only a bug and that this is not intentional, because if it would be intentional, well, that would be bad. You know, but anyway, let's go back to that. Let's actually try that one on this one here. Let's see how that sounds. Play it in a high octave. Yeah, and let's assign that one here and hear the difference. And now like... Amazing. Okay. You see? Take this out. It's more like... But the moment we turn it up, we get our fake unison. It works with chords. Okay. Yeah, guys, I think you get the point. Okay, so that was it for today. And I hope you've enjoyed that video, and I hope that you find that tip useful. If so, let me know in the comments, and also don't forget to leave a like to that video. And I did quite a lot of videos the last couple of days, and I think I will take a little pause now. I wish you a great week, my friends, and I see you very soon in my next video. Bye!